Hi everyone, Craig Stage. I'm superintendent of the Athens Area School District, and as you know by now, I like to go out and connect with our alumni in a video series I call Wildcats in the Wild. Well, a month or so ago, I went out and visited Gavin Bradley out at Castleton, where he goes to school and he wrestles and he's studying in sciences there, wildlife sciences, and technical difficulties. I love technology, and I also despise technology some days. We got some great footage, but half of it didn't have any sound, so I caught him over the break. Thank you, Gavin, and we're going to kind of redo some of these, and you're going to see us meld some of the old stuff in with the new stuff. So, Gavin, thank you for joining me again.
It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, awesome. Gavin, tell us, what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2022.
2022. Yep. And take us back to when you were in high school. What was that like for you?
It was a really good experience. I enjoyed high school. Really for me, I had the two biggest things in my life, which were wrestling and, studying animals. And I still had that passion in high school, and I still did those endeavors to my fullest. So that was really great to be a part of that and just be able to do that in high school. And then, and I'll kind of keep saying this as I go back through the interview a lot, but I really wouldn't be anything that I am today or tomorrow or wherever I'll be in my life without my family. So without my uncle David White, Jay White, Coach Setzer, Caden Setzer, my dad, my grandparents, my grandma, my aunts, all these amazing people that I've had in my life, and I'm thankful to have them and have them be a part of my journey, and not only my family, but my teachers that sacrificed a lot for me and believed in me when some people didn't, and that makes a world of a difference in the end, and I really appreciate them. So.
Well, when we talked last time, you gave a lot of credit to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you're very humble. You don't give yourself enough credit, but you did a lot of hard work. But high school set you up for success. And talk about how working through all your challenges and all of those, setting goals, and how did that work for you in high school, and how did that shape you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So really, I think, again, the people that were in my life kind of shaped me to be so much. I think there's always something you can learn from everyone. That's really a really important thing you can take away from life. And in my perspective, you can do that. But so for me, it was really important to take away little lessons from everyone in my life. And I did that as much as I could through high school. And that's why there's so many people that have, built me into the person that I try to be every single day.
Absolutely. And where have you been? So you told us you graduated and you're now at Castleton University?
Well, Vermont State University at Castleton.
It's got such a long title.
Yeah, it does. It's fine if you say Castleton University. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal, yeah.
And what are you studying there?
So I'm a wildlife and forestry conservation major, but I'm minoring in communications. So taking the information in the classroom and almost like you are doing a great job in projecting it to the public and getting them involved, right? Because it's really, ideally, it's the general public that makes the most decisions, right?
Hopefully.
The greater the number of people decide the fate and
right.
Just about anything. So for conservation, it's very important that we get everyone on board that we can and get everyone connected to the world around them and the natural world around them. So that's my job. So I do that in a lot of different ways. I am in charge of the sustainability team on campus. So I do research as far as that goes. We have a couple projects that I'm kind of leading up there that I'm very excited to be working on. I'm very grateful to be working on. And I also really focus a lot of research on anthrozoology. So looking at the relationships between animals and non-human animals and humans, and the kind of relationships that we have between each other in the natural world. So I'm very interested in that. I also work for admissions.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm in charge of people coming in, and I help them get in contact with, their fields of study and talking to people. And that's really helps me out a lot too, because I get to work with people and I get to, kind of, just talk and communicate more. Still working on the podcast that I was in high school, which is the name of that is the Connected Animal Podcast. I'm really excited, really grateful to be working on that.
Now, let me ask you. You started that podcast in what year?
Senior year. Senior year of high school, and it's still going. So I'm really grateful to be working.
4 years now?
4 years, yeah. So I've been working. I have professors up there that have came on, and we've talked and kind of worked on stuff on that way. I'm actually working with a professor on that, Dr. Moulton. She's a zoologist up at Vermont State University, Castleton, and she's phenomenal. I mean, and she feels the same way I do. And really, what we do in that realm is, and I don't mean to. We're not gonna go too far off the track here.
It's okay.
So like when people think about the kind of animal world, we like to think about these large vertebrates, right? We like to think about like the gorillas and the elephants and all the zebras and all this stuff, and all that stuff is great. But what's really, really interesting that a lot of people don't think about is, so that realm only makes up a small portion of the entire animal kingdom. A lot of it is invertebrates, which animals that don't have a spine.
Right.
And they're amazing. They're so spectacular. And really that, I don't want to ramble on, but that's like in a nutshell.
Right.
And what we try to do is we try to connect people with that information and just really get them connected with the perspective that we try to see them in, because they're really important they're keystone species in any ecosystem.
Right.
But not like, so I do that, and then I'm also on the wrestling team up there, and I also am a summer bridge mentor every summer for the summer bridge program. So we help kids coming in from high school transition to college.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing that I've been a part of. And I'm also a McNair Scholar as well at there. So I do my own research through the university. And
that's fantastic, Gavin.
Yeah.
So listen, one quick question. If we wanted to listen to your podcast, where would we find it? Spotify?
Yeah,
Apple?
Spotify, yeah. I haven't really branched out yet because I've been so focused on wrestling and in school and everything else. So
all right.
It's kind of just a thing I've done on the side. Yeah.
Well, listen, folks. When you watch this video and you want to check out his podcast, check out the link in the YouTube description, and we'll make sure it's in there for you, so you guys can check it out. I've heard it a couple of them, and funny enough, a couple people talked about it last week. And like, have you caught Gavin Bradley's podcast? It's great. Like, you really do a nice job with that. So,
means a lot.
Gavin, my whole point is I want to let people know, like, being a student here in Athens is important, and it gives you valuable lessons. Mm-hmm. But also you overcome challenges to become more successful. So your Wildcat experience is important.
Yeah.
Can you share with me what it means to be a Wildcat to you?
To me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think a really important aspect, not of just whether you're a Wildcat or like a Redskin. Well, are they the Redskins anymore? Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're still the Redskins.
The Redskins or a Black Knight or whatever you are. I think a really important aspect to anyone is to really get outside your comfort zone. And that could be in any realm of life. But one key aspect is the social realm of life. Like, I see, especially in high school, you see students like get these little niches that they feel comfortable in. And like, when you break out of that zone and you start to interact with people that you never really thought of interacting with before, you learn so much about yourself and so much about that individual. And I think that really helps you grow, but it also helps that person realize that they're not alone. And especially doing my research on psychology that I have been, it's very important that we need to kind of engage that more, especially in high schools, because high school is a very hard time for kids. I mean, it was a very hard time for me. You're coming up from middle school, you're in a new world, and there's a bunch of different things going on in your life, both biologically and socially. And I think it's really important that kids understand that it's okay to break outside that comfort zone, and not you don't, just because this friend you were friends with since middle school, that's okay that you're not. You're kind of going separate ways.
Right.
That's life, and you need to do that more, because in the real world, you're gonna have a boss that isn't gonna have the same interest as you. So you got to find common ground and find those interests, and that's how you build stronger relationships. So you might as well start practicing now, because your whole life's gonna be like that.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really important piece of advice for anybody who is looking to move past themselves and become a better Wildcat, a better person, a better anything, is don't make your tunnel too small.
Right.
Expand your horizons. Everybody brings something to your life, a positive and a negative, but take it in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to start, and specifically looking at my journey, I was different, because I had challenges in the classroom, but I had people in my life that really helped me get over those challenges. Not everyone has that, and I understand that.
Right.
But I think when an individual doesn't have those challenges, it's the community's responsibility to provide a place of understanding and a place of tough love, where it's we know you can be so much better. And with me, it was, especially in middle school, it was really, I was not the best student at all. And people in my life really took the time, and as well as my mom, really took the time to be hey, look, you could be doing so much more with your life, and you're not. And you need to, and starting connecting the dots, and find what people are interested in, and then line those interests with the goals of the current moment. And that's exactly what my mom did for me. And that's why, I didn't even know you could go to college and study animals. I didn't know that. I thought college was just for lawyers or I don't know, astronauts or something. But I was yeah, I'm just not going to go to college. She was well, you're more than capable. And it wasn't just my mom. It was my dad. My dad, did so much for me. My uncle's done so much for me. These people in my life, they've given up so much. And that's why, I guess, in high school and in my life right now, I feel so responsible to just to do the best I can every single minute. And I think we talked about the MVP of seconds.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be, is the MVP of seconds, not just for myself, but for them. And it was everyone that sacrificed for me along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gavin, I said this before, and I say it again. You really do give credit where credit's due, and you also need to own some of that yourself. You're a really goal-driven person who really sets standards and expectations and goes for it. And you've done that throughout your high school career. We talked about that earlier, but you had some help. You had some teachers that helped you. I think you shared a story about how you had some great teachers.
Oh, phenomenal teachers. My teachers really, I can't even think of a certain situation, but because there's so many coming to my head where they just really they really helped me understand a certain material, or connected me with with the material at hand. But also too, I think another thing that I guess could have been a little bit better is I guess myself, where I kind of teachers told me hey, you got to get better taking notes. And we didn't take notes. I didn't take very much notes in high school. And I had teachers come tell me if you're going to go to college, you got to start taking notes. And I was oh, maybe I will. Well, no, that's no maybe. You have to take notes in high school. And it has to be a pattern. You have to understand it, because once you get to college, that's the realm. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Gav, you were a hardworking student and a really hardworking athlete, and it all came to fruition, right? You became a state champ wrestler.
Yeah, yeah.
How'd that feel?
Well, I really, life is full of peaks and valleys, right? So I'm not
Yes, it is.
like it's good to reach the peak and like yeah, but like sooner or later you got to keep marching on, and I have. I guess for me the greatest feeling is yeah, that was good, but I get my high in life with helping people, and when I help someone, it feels way better than any moment that I stood on top of a podium in Hershey.
Yeah.
And that might sound like a way weird or something, but it's the truth, and that's another reason why I want to be who I want to be is because I want to help as many people as I possibly can, both through wrestling and through animal education, and that's what I really that's my goal and that's my job in life, and that's why I'm working as hard as I am. But yeah, it did feel good. It did feel good, but for me, it felt just as good. It'll feel better for me when people can look at it and say like, "Wow, that kid did it. Maybe I can do it," and then they go and do it. That for me would be, and same thing if a kid decides to get his PhD or decides to chase this dream that he's always wanted or she's always wanted academically. You're really not I feel like lots of times in life are the challenges that our brain tells us are there, it's not really there. It's a big we make these things to be these impossible odds within ourselves, and the situation isn't really like that at all. I mean,
Right.
especially where and I know that the teachers that are in Athens are still in Athens, and if you ever feel like you're alone, or you ever feel isolated, or if you ever feel like you just don't feel well about yourself at all, please, like, Athens is a place where you can talk about it. There's teachers here that want to help you, and
They do.
that's why I went to Castleton, because Castleton's a lot like that, and I wanted to surround myself with that as long as I possibly can. And I know sooner or later I'm going to have to go to a bigger university that isn't really like that. But there's always going to be people like that in your life.
Absolutely.
And,
Well,
yeah.
well, Gavin, I appreciated our time together, and I will kind of try to meld in some of our other conversations too. But let me be honest with you. I always appreciate your perspective. You make us incredibly proud here in Athens. You're a great Wildcat. You'll always be one of us. Thank you. And we can't wait to see how you keep moving through life and watching your journey. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. And just again, I guess like the big thing that I just really want to pinpoint is, just help other people. It's really not that hard. And the littlest things add up to the biggest. Like, you wouldn't believe how much of an impact you would have just holding the door open for someone, or just telling them that how much you appreciate them, or because time is fleeting, and that's why time's more valuable than money, because you can always get money. Yep. Right, but you can never get back time. And I think the more time we spend as a community respecting other individuals, helping them out, and respecting their goals and trying to help them reach their goals, I think that's what's really going to help us in the end. It's a mutualism, right? And that's really symbiosis at the level playing field. And again, like, I wouldn't be anything without the people who have helped me. I really wouldn't. Yeah. Like, they've just, my dad, everything he continues to do for me. He's just a great role model for me every single day.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it all, man. He's climbed the mountain, and he's really sacrificed a lot for me. And and it's not just my dad; it's a lot of people in my life. Like everyone I said in this beginning of this video, I meant it. They're my heroes. That's the reason why I really strive and focus so hard on the present. And then I guess the other thing I would say to any high school kid is, the reason why they call what's here right now, the present, is because it's the best gift that you got. And that's true. And it's okay to spend some time looking in the rearview mirror. That's how you grow.
Right.
But don't spend your whole life looking back, because there's so much for you looking ahead too. Don't spend your whole life looking ahead. That's one thing I did in high school too. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I never spent a lot of time just enjoying where I'm at. And I got better at it as when I went to college and stuff, but really working on that is like, stay as much time as you can in the present, because it's a really beautiful place. And if it's not for you, you always have people to talk to, and you always have people that care about you. I mean, I don't even know who's out there who's struggling, but if you come to me and you talk to me and you let me know that, you know, your feelings, and I care about you.
That's amazing.
People care about you.
That is so true.
You know?
You've given us a lot of great advice, you know, and there's too many nuggets in here for me to just summarize. So,
well, I got that advice from people that were in my life.
Yeah.
So I got that advice from my grandfather, my uncle, you know, Jay, David, my aunt Diane, my grandma. I mean, my grandma did a lot for, like, my grandma. We raised horses my whole life, so I learned a ton of stuff. My mom, my dad, you know, my grandparents. It just really, and you know, my cousins Nick and Nate. Jilly, like all these amazing people in my life, and I wouldn't be anything without them.
Gavin, there's a lot of passion in you, and we in Athens are incredibly proud of the journey of Gavin Bradley. And I know you give a lot of credit to a lot of other people, but I want to give some credit to you, young man. You work really, really hard. You're going to go really, really far. You have a great approach to life, and I'm very proud to have spent some time with you today.
Yeah, thank you, and you know, thank you for everyone at Athens that sees this. Mm-hmm. You know, Athens is a huge step in that process for me. It always will be, and it's just a phenomenal place, and you guys are doing. Like, I know public schools as a whole don't get a lot of attention, a lot of stigma, but I really believe that Athens is a very, very, very high caliber place, both academically and athletically.
Well, we have exceptional students like you. We have exceptional staff. We try to embody the Wildcat way. Mm-hmm. I think you live it every day.
Thank you.
And Gavin, I think you are a testament to those students who have come and gone that say they can't. They hate to say that there's a barrier, that you can find a way and you can do it. Well, Gavin, thank you so much. Folks, Gavin Bradley, a Wildcat that we're all proud of, a person we're all proud of. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Go Wildcats.
Thank you.